Take a second, think back. Let's take a sec to think back. Let's take a sec to think back.
Hello. So, we have established a new schedule, or we've tried to establish a new schedule, and we are going to, part of that new schedule is playing a good old game, that's a service, this old game, every Wednesday at 9, where we go back and look at a game that I either specifically have a connection to from the past, an older game that might not be considered modern, that might not necessarily run on modern computers out of the box, and play it from the beginning for a little bit, talk about it, and tonight we're doing that with Lionhead Studios / Peter Molyneaux 2001 Black and White, and there was a lot of hype around this game, 3 years-ish of hype, as I recall. And this was still back when Peter Molyneaux was not as... it wasn't a meme for him to be hyping up games as much. He was still kind of, this was post-Dungeon Keeper, post-Populous, pre... Goddess, whatever the name of that weird kind of populist thing that he did with the cube. Anyway, let's start it and see where we go from it. So I'm going to actually go start from the beginning, so we can watch what it does together here.
A land of innocence has no need for gods, until fate intervenes.
Keep away from the water!
Stop!
When people pray, a god is always born.
Help! Someone help
Help our
us!
child!
We call
Please,
to the
hear
heavens!
us!
Able to change eternity. That god is you. good or evil. Be what you will, you are destiny.
You saved our boy! Thank you. Thank you for your mercy.
We praise you!
Greetings. We're your conscience. Good and evil. Yin and yang. Black and white. As part of you, we'll guide you through this world.
Our people will want to worship you. Please come with us to our village.
I'll show you how to follow them. How to move. Let's see. You move your hand in the direction you want to travel, like this. Then you click and hold the move button. After that, you move the mouse towards you to drag forwards, or push away to move backwards. You click, hold, and pull again to cover more ground. Follow your new worshippers to the village. You'll have to grab the landscape several times.
So, okay. So first thing first, as an opening, that was a very strong way to start off a game. Just as a concept of, even if everyone from someone who has no idea what the hell this game is to someone who knows Molyneaux's work and knows what this is going to do, it slams home the point with with those two groups and everyone in between as to what's happening. It's actually a very kind of neat idea that gods are created as soon as someone calls out to the void, right? It's a neat philosophical concept, although one would argue that means there are millions of gods roaming around, little hands that appear from the ether. But so one of the things that they were doing with this game, one of their goals,
Over here, keep going.
yes, was an innovative way to, and this is one of those things that you, at some point you ask, is this over designing? Is this over making it overwrought? By innovating the way by which you move the camera, your perspective around, and it was
Your
this.
arrival was foretold. The prophecy has come true. We can now finish the temple.
Did you guys throw him in the water so I would arrive? Or tell him to go swim with sharks?
Let's move to the temple by clicking and dragging, or double-click the move button on it to go straight there.
But yeah, the interface being the cursor and how you handle the camera, basically the whole UX, the whole user experience is sort of filtered down and diluted down to this hand interface, and as we'll see soon, a gesture interface. And it was a very, very high concept, very clever way to try and solve the problem of
Well, we could help them complete it.
how you want the player
When it's
to,
finished, this temple will be the focus of our power.
you know, and as you'll see, this is also a very clever way that they unfold or unlock these things that the hand and the gestures can do in terms of, well, yeah, let's just kind of
But now
talk
it's
through it
time
as
to learn how
we
to look
are
around.
taught these mechanics.
You move the hand to
we're
the side
given
of the
camera
screen
controls
until
from the hand.
rotate arrow appears like
This always
this.
felt a little weird.
You hold down the move button. Then you move the hand in a circular motion to rotate around and see things from a different angle.
I will
You can
say that
rotate
this is
either way.
this was put out in 2001. It took a bit of patching and fan patching
You
to
can
get it to
also
run
use
on
the
Windows 10
keyboard to
on a
rotate.
modern system. So I play tested it briefly last night.
Now you try looking around.
Didn't have any issues, but it's certainly possible that things will behave funky, but hopefully it won't come to that. But if it does, hang in there. But
Yes, splendid. Yes. Very good. Good. Now let's learn.
ooh, good.
You move your hand to the top or bottom edge of the screen until the pitch arrow
This
appears.
game also, at least in my memory, played a lot with the LOD level of detail system in terms of how it would alter. Because by default, in most 3D games, the further away objects are from you, they will be rendered in a more simpler form, right? If you have a person who's a mile away and you see them as a speck, it's not the whole person being rendered with all the triangles and all the polygons. It's a very basic shape because you don't need to be close. This played with that in almost a
Now you have a go.
almost like they were unsure of how to solve the problem.
Yes, splendid.
Because you can actually
That's
see
it. You've got the idea.
the ocean in the distance. Almost looks like a video because it's kind of awkwardly pixelated,
One last
but
thing. Zooming in and out is very
and you
useful.
can actually see the
To
villagers
zoom,
switching
you
between
can hold both the mouse
a
buttons.
more detailed
You move the mouse
model
towards
and
you
a
to
very
zoom
simplistic
out,
model.
like
Like
this.
there, it's fine. They
And
kind of
you
pop,
move the
but
mouse away from you to zoom in.
there are a few kind of
Zooming,
cases
as
where
you
you're just
see,
on that
is
edge where
extremely
it's
useful. You can also use the keyboard. Now you try.
I can zoom.
That's it. You've done it. All this moving around is giving me a headache. I think we may need to practice a bit. We can go to the God's Playground by pressing F2 on the keyboard at any time. Now we've learned how to...
Okay, so hand does cursor control or does camera
Let's
control.
take supplies of food and wood from the village store. First you move the hand
I do kinda
over
wish
the
you could
food
skip
or
past-
wood
I mean,
like this.
You
pick
can
up by
technically. You can
pressing
skip
action
the
button.
entire
The
tutorial.
longer you hold, the more you pick up. You can still drag while holding objects. You press the action button while holding an object to drop it.
So it's very interesting. Also, like the reasoning and the approach behind making it so I'm not just pressing. All right, I actually have. Making the cursor, like the thing that you're using for your camera is the same thing that you're using to interact with the world, is the same thing you're using to get around. It does create this presence. You do feel like, you know, is there a limit to how much I can hold at once? Just hold all the wood. There's a sort of immediacy that it lends, especially as you'll see as we do other. Like you have to go grab stuff and bring it over and drop it. You have to go grab grain and go over here and drop it. You have to point to things and say you are a worker. It's a very it puts you as the god in a very, and it gives an extreme amount of agency in terms of the player having to literally interact with the world to accomplish what they want to do versus like using key. I mean, you can use keyboard commands, but the fact that they or keyboard controls to do most of these things, but the fact that they tutorialize it to say click here, drag here, touch the world basically speaks to kind of what their design goals here were. So we dropped some wood here, and they made a temple to us. This is a very slow pan.
At last, the people have finished our temple.
Not sure why that needed to be that long. Suspect maybe he
This
didn't.
is the entrance. Click the action button on it to take you inside.
It's also interesting that a couple of other things. Not only is the god you know, because the player can only be focused on one thing at a time, because we're humans, we don't have omnipresent vision, is that you could only, like...
This is the entrance.
I know, I'm working on it.
Click
I'm
the
talking.
action button
Shush.
on it to take you
Go away.
inside.
Go away. You can actually flick on this. That's fun.
You can scroll through some of these info signs to read all the text. Hold the action button on the text and move up or down. Any information you read on one of these is added to the library in the temple.
Well, I should probably read all those then.
No, click on the door.
Yeah.
Incredible!
the temple.
The tribe built all this. And to think it's a monument to you as a god.
And us as your conscience, don't forget.
The workmanship is amazing.
And what a symbol of overwhelming evil.
No, it isn't. Now look, this here must be a map of the whole land.
What about all these doors?
Each leads to a room. The rooms are extremely useful.
Let's try some.
Save game room, the library, the future room, game options room. So yeah, perhaps this was a part of it that's a little too high concept, a little too immersive. That to get to these options, you need to navigate this this temple to do so. It's a cool idea, obviously, but definitely not
This is the library.
the best amount of, like, the most efficient user experience. Like, I want to go to my options. Okay, well, here we go into the room of options. You know, it's a very ponderous thing. Again, very cool that they did it this way. It's a very cool concept. It's a very cool idea. Here are all the people who made the game. Perhaps I think that the better implementation would be some sort of middle ground, right? But
Check out all the writing on the scroll, boss.
It's showing lots of information about...
so we have our map here, which is, you know, again, so this shows our influence. Creatures. What are creatures? I bet you're wondering if you've never played this game. Well, you'll see. It's a little, like I said, laborious to get. All right, let's get out of here. But yeah, so they want you to really feel like you have the agency of this god as the player. They really want you to feel like you're in the eyes and the hand of this player, of this god. Almost to a fault.
Now we have a temple, let's explore. I'm dying to know what these signposts are.
He's dying to know, but you already explained what they are.
No, there's so much we gotta do. I say we hunt out the gold story scrolls. We'll need these if we're gonna progress through this world. A gold story scroll looks like this.
Clicking on gold story scrolls with the action button will lead you through your quest in Eden. You can activate the scroll or you can explore. It's up to you, leader.
Oop, right. Look at the tree there. I am going to familiarize myself with the actual... Okay, that's the one I'm actually going to use, is the middle mouse button. I keep wanting to use WASD for camera control, but I need to use the hand to get around. So yeah, it was... you know, this idea of kind of an open concept...
Oh, look! a silver reward scroll.
And a lot of
Let's
this
see
is
what
going to
it
be stuff I
means.
am
Yeah,
remembering
silver
because
ones ain't as vital as the gold ones.
it's been
but we
about
can
17
still
years since
check
I
'em
played
out.
this. Which is a long time. It's like a person in high school's worth of time. I actually see the scroll that they're talking about. Huh. Sure.
Okay, let's get our projectile skills up to scratch.
What do you suggest? I presume it involves killing.
No, not at all. I was going to propose,
I know. Let's see if we can hit that pillar over there. It's a test of our godly powers, and nobody gets hurt.
How nice. And I guess we use this everlasting pile of stones.
Handy that.
Indeed. A little
Move
cheeky.
your hand over a rock. Press the action button until the rock is in your hand. Hold down the action button. Put momentum on the throw by moving the hand in the correct direction. Throw the rock by releasing the action button.
Well, I
Try
remember
throwing
doing
a rock
this.
now. Oh, now that was close.
So yeah, the extreme tactile design approach to this game would be. I'm actually surprised no one's tried to do this. Maybe they have. I didn't think to look for it. But this would be a very good VR game in 2018. Kind of in a crazy way of how good it would be. You would, with only one controller, with only one like a Vive or something that has the. I guess they all have the controllers. Because it's so everything is so thoroughly tied to this hand as the interface. All right, I need to hold it.
You hit it.
Just that good.
Marvelous.
Neat, boss. You're really gonna do damage with this skill later.
Ooh, we've been given a chest. I wonder if there's anything in it.
Yeah.
Where does this
click
drop
the
from?
action button on it to open it.
It's a ball. Why would I have a ball? Well, I might need it later. No, Mickey Mouse. I don't believe the angels and the angel and devil have names. They are represented as our conscience, so they are a part of us. So whatever my name is, their name is as well. And we're learning about Silver Scrolls. We can go away from the Phallic Rock. Hello, Mickey Mouse. How are you? Good to see you. Right, so the village store is where the resources live. You can like knock on the house. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, and it can also get a sense of who lives there. Assign them to different disciples. Okay, or different jobs. Yeah. So like speaking of the angel and devil, it is interesting that from the very beginning, when you're summoned from the ether from the villager calling out for help, so that the angel and the devil show up immediately. And from the very beginning, we're establishing the dual nature of the game. Now, I mean, just by the reading the box name, black and white, yes, that's coming across. But that's being reinforced through the characters that are giving you the tutorial and that are saying that they're a part of you are literally saying, oh, I'm evil, I'm good. We're going to help you figure out how to do this. So we're already establishing the kind of binary. Again, maybe to a fault later, that there's no gray area between, but that we're establishing that this is a game with these two sides struggling and competition. And it's very smart to kind of reinforce that just from both the story and a design perspective. So I like to pick up trees. Put one right here in the middle of town. There you go. There's a tree for you. Okay. Let's just keep clicking signs and getting. Placing a man or woman next to someone of the opposite sex turns them into a breeder, whose only goal is to breed and produce children. Okay. Not gonna make any wry comments about that, but. Oh yeah, I can help harvest crops by pulling them out of the ground and then dumping them here. Alright, you can get the names of your people, which is a little weird, actually, if you think about it. And only some of them are named. Vicky Maz, I agree. This literally is set up to be a VR game. If I were more... Ooh, we have animals. Sheep. Some pigs. You can, of course, throw them if you so choose. He's fine. I hope. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he gets very... It's interesting, speaking of the level of detail stuff, like, as I'm scrolling here, this sheep is turning low quality to high quality, which is a little awkward. Obviously, if this were going to be remade today, the range at which these defer to a lower quality state would be a lot higher. But okay, some people live there. What is this? It's a graveyard, but no one's dead, so no reason to be sad. All right, let's we've thrown a pig, we've thrown some rocks. We've got used to. Actually, this wood doesn't need to stay here, so. Very satisfying sound. So, alongside the immersion and the agency of the player as the god, there's no UI here at all. There's no interface elements. There's no numbers on the screen. There's no there's none of that, and that's a very specific decision that they make to keep it all in game. You want to know how many people are in the village? Knock on a house. Or click on a house and you can kind of see it in the world. You want to know how many people, you want to get more stats, go in the temple, go to the scroll and look at the scroll. Children stay safe until they're adults. Okay, just like real life. And like I said, I think it's one of those things that is if there's a word that could best describe Peter Molyneaux' design style would be lofty. Right? Like, this is a you can just see him and his cohorts around a conference room table saying, okay, no interface, no text cluttering the screen, you just find the information organically. And it's one of those things that everyone's like, that sounds really cool, and we're trying something new, but I wonder if... Now, this game is generally considered to be very good, like, legacy-wise. It's a bit of a backlash because of it launched with a lot of bugs and issues, but still, like, I wonder if in playtesting no one said, I mean, maybe we should have a little the text, but no one's gonna tell Peter no.
Greetings, Holy One. You've activated a gold
So, anyway,
story
let's move,
scroll.
let's move things
My
forward.
name is Sable. I am a trainer of creatures.
Creatures.
I challenge you to open these gates.
I mean, I'm a giant, omniscient, omnipresent hand.
Behind them are 3 wondrous creatures. Every god has a creature. They can grow tall as a mountain and can perform miracles. But you can't open the gate unless you find the 3 gate stones. Each stone you find must be placed on this platform.
Oh, this is pedestal in the text, but okay.
The villagers were dancing around a gate stone when you arrived.
Let's scroll to it
Once you
now.
place this gate stone on the platform,
Okay.
now retrieve the first gate stone, Holy One.
I like that I'm a god, but I still need to go do these tasks for this lady before she'll let me do what I want. Grab this stone. Nope, I'm being told I can't click that far. That's fine. Did it? Perfect. Nailed it. Okay. There's one here. And one here.
Didn't we see the villagers dancing around
Isn't
a
this what I
stone a
just
while ago?
brought over? We did. To answer your question, we did see them dancing around. I thought I picked up. There's one. Oh, I see there are multiple. What was it? What do you guys say? If you press F1, information will be displayed. This is a singing stone. Oh right, right. No, it's sorry. It's the animal head. I need to grab.
Here's the stone that people were dancing around. Pick it up
You got
by
distracted
clicking
by-
the action button on it.
Pretty sounds.
Excellent. You found a gate stone. You'll need to search for another now. Try looking for a gold story scroll in the village.
I'll give it a shot. I don't know if I'll be able to find a giant sparkling scroll.
Oh, Holy One, I kneel before you. My brother, suffering a fever, has left his sick bed and become lost. He's so weak. I'm frightened he'll die.
Why did you run away and go hang out with giant mushrooms?
If you find him and bring him home, I'll give you one of the 3 gate stones. It's in my house.
I mean, I could literally just lift your house up and take it, but
Hey, I got
Oh.
a plan. Why
See?
don't we trash the
I'm already
house?
thinking along the
We can
lines
get
of-
the gate stone that way.
I heartily object. That's just malicious.
Well, that's kind of the whole point.
The lost brother is in some trees through the pass.
so I do wonder if this is the actual first morality test, or if I can literally, or if they're just teasing it. No, we'll play nice for now. Mostly because I want to see what these mushrooms look like. Woo. This is how. Yes, this is how a cult starts. Is they swear they saw a giant hand pick up their sick husband, brother. I obviously wasn't paying too close attention. Here you go.
you are. I've been so worried. Thank you.
We had
for
less
your
polygons back then.
benevolence. Here is the gate stone.
How'd you fit that in your house? Yoink.
Good. You have 2 of the gate stones, but the third could be a problem. The villagers say the final one was destroyed eons ago. All is not lost, though. The village sculptor can carve a new gate stone for you. You should see him.
So if any will broken carve these, then
Holy One, I hear you're looking for a gate stone.
I
am a sculptor. If you provide me with the right rock, you'll find the rock I need in the old hermit's quarry. Please bring it here.
So this always felt a little strange as to what this was trying to accomplish, because we're technically still tutorializing a little bit.
I'm definitely the best sculptor in the village.
Vicky Maz asks, in my relation, how do the graphics to this compare to what was out at the time? Everything's so clunky. 2001 was actually, so this actually looked pretty good for 2001. Aside from the models, as I was kind of talking about how they're getting low quality, high quality at very awkward moments when you're zooming and zooming out. Like this guy walking up to us here has very stubby arms when no, he doesn't. Yeah. But no, this looked pretty good for 2001. You know, Half-Life was only 99, for example. Half-Life 2 was 2003. No, that was later actually. But no, this actually looked decent. It just like honestly, if the textures were modern and the a little higher res and they changed the level of detail, this would be generally acceptable by today's standards. It's just that because the textures are so
Here's the
large,
stone you need.
it looks a little awkward. But yeah, I'm not really sure what this is trying to do. It's a tutorial. Like, I don't feel like I'm being given new information.
That's
I'm not
excellent. Exactly the right kind of rock to work with. Thank you.
learning
Come back
anything.
later
It's
and I'll
just
have it
basically
finished.
fetching rocks, which is
The sculptor is still carving the gate stone.
put a plant in the graveyard. There was a bit of wood. Can I do anything with these mushrooms? It's a mushroom. No. I guess sometimes life is, but I mean, you could abstract everything in life down to just fetching rocks if you wanted to. Vicky Maz. I'm gonna put this sheep in this farm though. There. That helped. Alright, is he done carving this thing? Looks like it. Nope. Did I actually think that was okay.
It's ready to be placed with the others by the gate. The sculptor is still carving the gate stone.
Oh, he isn't. Bam. That's a different game. Vicky Maz, when the sheep fetch rocks for you. I'm not sure how they would even fetch rocks.
And claim your creature.
You'd like nudge them forward with their little noses. It's asking a lot. So all I needed were rocks that were in the shape of animals so that anyone could have carved. They're not magical, they're not. And also, there is actually no music that we're missing. There's no. I didn't turn off the music. This is just what we have. There is occasionally like kind of more ambient. What are these guys doing here?
Look at them. Just look at them. These are miraculous creatures.
Well, I know which one I'm not
They
picking.
certainly are, but not quite as big as I expected.
Not yet, maybe, but they can become the most powerful creatures in the world.
Now, that I'd like to see. We must have one. Which should we choose?
Any, they're all special.
If rather small at the moment.
So, last time I... the tiger's whistling at me. The last time I played through this so long ago, I believe we chose the tiger, so I think I'm going to go with the cow. He seems... Yeah, I'm not sure I can handle a sad cat right now, so we're going to go cow.
Are you sure you want this creature? Click on him again if you are.
Definitely
We
going
could
to
have the cow.
Yes.
A strong and noble beast.
What? Not the fierce, lethal tiger? Click the action button on him.
Oh, don't be so sad. That's just...
We've chosen a creature.
It's just mean. To make me feel bad for not choosing. Again, an implication that choosing the tiger is an evil choice, which is odd. That's the sound cows make, you know?
This is your creature's new home. He's small at the moment, but look after him and one day he'll be big and powerful. He isn't comfortable in his new home yet. In fact, he's a little frightened.
He has a ball. What's to be frightened about?
You can stroke him to reassure him. Click and hold the action button, then move your hand to stroke him. Holy One, you're clicking and letting go
I'm
too
sorry.
quickly.
Here we go.
Now stroke him by holding the action button and moving your hand over him gently.
It's on the
Stroke him
belly.
tells him you approve of him.
I
and it
approve
makes him happy.
of this cow. Work the arms a little bit. Get massage going.
Excellent. See how he likes that? He feels much better now. I'll leave you two alone for a while.
It's a
I'll
very good
return later
animation.
to teach you more.
You got this ball. Look at this ball. Yeah, I know. No interest in the ball. It's kind of an oddly seductive pose when he lies down. I'm not really comfortable with it. I don't think they did pants for animals. I agree that they
I
should have.
suggest you find him something to eat. Choose carefully, though. Some things are better for him than others.
Like what? A box of nails versus a box of grains? Like what? If you want your creature to eat something, rub his tummy when you give it to him. He'll eat it even if he's not hungry. That's disturbing. So it's an if you zoom out
There's a silver reward scroll
on the
beach behind those huge
thanks.
gates.
If you zoom out on where we are so far in terms of how this game is unfolding and how this game is introducing itself to us, It's a little strange that, I mean, I like what they did overall. It was a very unique thing, but to basically start off by positioning it as a god / sim game, having you have villagers and care about them and grab wood and place wood and assign villagers and sort of manage and oversee the town. To then like pivot hard into, okay, cool. Now here's a creature. He's your pet. You train him. It's cool. It's like, I feel like you could almost reverse engineer the decision to implement a pet / creature into this game to some design doc or some meeting somewhere. We're like, okay, we have the player, doing all this stuff. There needs to be more things for them to do, something for else for them to manage, something by which to show their progression, if they're being good, if they're being bad, some sort of avatar. And I think that's what led us to the creature. So it's cool, it's cute, it's fun to interact with, but it, as an actual like game mechanic, it's a little weird to like pivot hard into, hey, pick one of these 3 creatures with no information about them. Like, as far as I understand, they're basically equal. I should feed my cat while I'm talking. Cows like grain.
Why not take some grain from the village store to feed the creature?
I will take 1,000 grain. I hope he's hungry.
Give him food by putting your hand in front of him and then holding the action button.
Here you go. He's got to sniff it first. Nope. Fuck that, he says. How do you not like grain? Too much? There we go.
He seemed to like that.
Yeah, I was trying to overfeed
some
him.
more. I'll be back later.
Yeah, you're Mickey Mouse. When you first think of a god, it's not, rubs cows' tummies for a living. I mean, there are worse things. So he liked the grain, he just didn't like. Oh wow, very very rude. This is why you can't have nice things. I'm not. Oh, he'll just eat it by himself. That's handy. Oh yeah. He likes playing with it. He's into it. Let me put this food over here. I mean, to be fair, I don't know that this game would have done as well or be as successful if it didn't have the pet mechanic. It's just... No! Why would he eat the ball? I was hoping he would play with it.
Hey! Sable, the creature trainer, is trying to attract our attention.
Okay. I'm just dealing with what just happened here. I'm guessing I can't go get another one. I had a lot of plans for that ball. We were gonna
There's a silver
play
reward
catch.
scroll on the beach behind those huge gates.
Okay, fine. I'll go do the. Maybe there'll be another ball there. I eat the ball. I don't remember him doing that before.
Oh, we've got this notion that we quite like to sail the ocean.
Oh, right.
So we're building a big boat.
These
to
jerks.
Leave here for good. We're not keen on sinking, so we're all sitting here thinking, 'cause we built it too big and we've run out of wood. Idly, we simply can't leave till we get some more wood. Oh, we're not keen on sinking, so that's why we're sitting thinking, 'cause we simply can't leave till we get some more wood.
How dare they leave after all we've done for them?
What have we done for them exactly? Perhaps we should help them out. It might be nice.
I mean, probably.
Oh, we've got this notion that we quite like.
No, I don't want to hear it again.
So
Please stop.
building a
Please stop.
big boat to leave
I-
here for good. We're not keen on sinking, so we're all sitting here thinking, cause we built it too big and we've run out of wood.
I don't want to hear this anymore.
Idly,
It's not. There's no way to stop it.
idly, we simply can't leave till we get some more wood. Oh, we're not keen on sinking, so that's why we're sitting thinking, cause we simply can't leave till we get some more wood.
Okay, I deeply regret clicking that scroll again. Or that Subaru, as Vicky Mass says, which maybe could be product placement. Now I'm compelled to not help them at all, because their song is terrible, but... Is there a way to, like, turn this into wood for them? Or throw it? That works too. I can like take the trees and drop them into supply center, as I recall. Doesn't that turn them into wood? It does. I can take some of that and give it to them, I guess. Maybe they'll bugger off. I'm still reeling from my loss of the ball.
Thank you for this wood.
Do you have a ball I can have? It's like, right, it's like Wilson. But instead of floating away, he was consumed by a large cow.
Can we have some more wood, please?
Oh, you're so needy. I don't actually remember what the payoff for this was. If so, I mean, in anything that Peter Molyneaux makes, there's not necessarily rewards for everything. Sometimes, and not just his games, but the concept of
Thank you for this wood.
there always having to be a reward for anything is something he plays with a lot in his games. Is sort of a morality, causality sort of thing. I'm not. Oh, okay, at least it's over.
Finished, but there's still something on the wish list to keep us all going through the wind and the rain. There's no food on the table, and we can't sail unless we're able. So we ain't going nowhere till we get some grain. Idly,
This is 3 times longer than it needs to be.
we simply can't leave until
And I can't skip
we
it.
get some grain. There's no food on the table, and we can't sail unless we're able. So we ain't going nowhere till we get some grain.
Please never sing again. I know that's asking too much, because they will sing again. So spoilers. Let's not deal with this right now. I have the agency to say not right now. I want to see how my cow is doing. So I'm more interested in how is he doing.
Hey, Sable the creature trader.
Okay. Belly full of.
Your creature already has his own personality.
I really like his can-do attitude.
But you can alter and shape it by, hey, what's going on?
Chomp. No, I got eat her too.
Aye! Punish your creature to stop him doing things
Why?
like that.
It's his space. You're in his space. I would prefer to reward him for establishing his territory. I'm not gonna make it. I know he's making me slap him. I think you're right, Vicky Mez. I think they're intentionally trying to get them to leave. Except I think it takes like 4 or 5 more steps to do so. They don't actually. Maybe they do. I don't remember what happens.
Hold down the action button over the creature to zoom in on him.
Oh.
Now slap him by moving your hand quickly from side to side across him.
I'm only doing this because I have to for the tutorial. Please forgive me.
Thanks. He won't try that again in a hurry. I'll come back soon to explain more about your wondrous, slightly headstrong beast.
Yeah, eat that food. It's right there. That's what's there for you. You're standing on the geometry there, buddy. Hi. I'm sorry about that. No, you can't slap the lady like you know. I would. Come here. I want to give you... I didn't actually mean to slap you. Everything's fine. Ignore what she said. You are 50% good boy. I'm sleepy. Later. Fine, we'll go give grain to the goddamn sailors while we're sitting here. 1,000 is enough grain to do stuff, I imagine. Here. That's not where I want to put it.
We're grateful for the grain, Holy One.
Oh, we're not complaining, but there's still one more thing remaining, 'cause bread is quite boring if that's all you eat. We need some flavour, so do us all a little favour, 'cause we ain't going nowhere till we get some meat.
Idle.
We simply can't leave until we got some meat. So do us a favour, find something with a little flavour, 'cause we're going nowhere till we get some meat.
Yeah, you better cry. It's terrible. So this is also establishing... So this is technically the first game... Technically, it is the first game that Lionhead made. Lionhead Studios, which is formed by Peter Molyneaux et al. After... Not shortly after, but sometime after... what's the name of the studio he did Magic Carpet with? Blue Frog? Flying Frog? There's a frog in the name. Anyway, this could bug me now. So this was actually before the Fables games. And this was kind of the precursor to the Fable games, where things like a trio of singing sailors and animals with personalities would come through, and and more, and the whole concept of choice and morality being to influence the game in terms of player choice and character choice and how things unfold from those choices. This actually dovetails right into the Fable series, which is its own conversation of good and bad the concepts.
Hey, Sable, the creature trick.
It's time to take him for a walk.
Alright, there are these little tools you could use.
This is the leash of learning. Please click on it, and I'll show you how to use it with your creature. Good. Now click on your creature.
It's a very fancy bracelet I have now.
Now you've got some direct control of the little beast.
Yeah.
You can pull the creature about with the leash.
I appreciate that it's not
See that
around
tree
his
over
neck.
there?
It's just sort of nebulously attached to him.
Try pulling your creature towards it. Click the action button on the ground to hurry him up.
He can take his time. I'm not in a rush. This is a tutorial,
Yes.
so we have all the time in the world.
Yes.
What? That was weird. Who was saying yes? I mean,
Excellent. Well done. Did you know that you can use a leash to make your creature interact with objects?
no.
Try getting him
I'm
to
learning
pick
that
up
all
that
this.
cow over there.
Wait. Get the cow to pick up the cow.
Move your hand with the leash over the cow. Then click the action button.
See, that's actually because I've chosen the cow. That's actually potentially very confusing to some players. they'd be like, okay, I put the cat. Just saying. He seems jazzed about this cat. I haven't clicked on it yet. He's just going over by himself.
Well done. You see, the leash is very useful.
Is that...
Why not take him for a walk? It'll do him good. You can drop the leash by shaking your hand left and right quickly.
Alright, but I can... Oh, the gesture system, right. Which they're not actually telling me about. They told me I can drop it, but not how I can get it back. Yeah. This little... I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but...
Hey! Sable, the creature trainer, is trying to attract our attention.
I mean, you know, he did eat earlier, so I guess that makes sense.
There's more to learn about leashes. I didn't tell you that you can attach the leash to objects. Try leashing the creature to this tree.
I was actually trying to, I guess, because I was trying
With
to
the
do it.
leash attached to your hand, double-click the action button to attach the leash. Good. The leash is very useful. Your creature is tied to the tree now. He'll interact with whatever he's leashed to as well. If you click on a leash when the creature's attached to something, you can adjust its length. There are two other leashes for you here. This is the leash of aggression. It encourages your creature to get angry.
Okay.
This is the fluffy leash of compassion. It makes your creature behave nicely.
No gray area in black and white.
Why not experiment
It's black
with
or
these
white.
leashes? They're powerful tools.
He's either really
I'll
angry
bid you
or very
farewell.
nice.
You now know as much about creatures as I do. One thing remains. Legends tell of an ancient creature somewhere on this land. I've heard him, but I've never seen him. He hides from us humans, but he has great knowledge, I think.
My cat has a lot of things to say. He has a lot of big thoughts about this stuff.
There are advanced techniques for using the leash. Find them on this signpost.
We're not going to talk about gestures yet. Did you know? Bless you. I want to click the sign. Nice. So yeah, so we're given kind of an, I mean, for what it's trying to do, the binary good versus evil. It can be a little frustrating. I actually want to have him interact with a villager if you can. Yeah, he's into it. Can you not interact with the... Oh, I've attached him to... Well, let's see how this plays out. Compelling. Alright. What? He had food? Alright. Oh, hi Jack. Yes. There was a... not a ton that I had to do. I actually had the discs. I was looking for something else last night, and I ran across the discs for this. The disc for this in black and white too, and some other stuff. And I spent about an hour and a half. There's like a bunch of patches you have to, not a bunch, a couple patches you have to do, and a fan patch that actually lets it run natively on Windows 10, and at a native, like this is at full resolution, and it seems to work pretty well. So we're gonna re-experience it. Oh, we picked up the person. Now what? Let's just leave quickly. I'm sure she's fine. Yeah, I did too, Jack. I had a lot of fun with it. We're see what we can get up to tonight. But thanks for stopping by, man. Hang out there while I play the scroll.
By the great gods, I've been asleep. I was just counting my sheep when I dozed off. Please find my strange sheep.
I think I found one.
Well, they were gonna be slaughtered anyway. I say we waste the wandering mutton.
But if we find and return them, we'll have a dyed-in-the-wool follower.
Well,
I feel like
the saintly one made a joke.
I feel like they didn't know what to do with the morality in this game completely, because it's not subtle, right? Like, it's he's really just going for it. It's either be super nice and friendly or just be a dick. And they try to kind of, it felt like in some instances, how did you even get up here? I'm going to zoom on you so I can see your full glory. Yep. Yeah, it just feels like they didn't really have a good sense of how much or when they should...
Many thanks, higher power. Keep them coming, please.
How much or when they should apply that, or remind you of the kind of Boolean nature of your decisions. Like this, here's one. Like I can either feed them to someone or save them. Like it's such a dramatic end of the spectrum.
Many thanks, higher power. Keep them coming, please.
Okay, let's just having a walkabout. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, right. Okay, day-night cycle. With your hand as light because it would be a little uncomfortable to have to explore the land without it. What does this guy want? Well, let's do one task at a time here. Nobody lives there. At least I don't think. I think that's empty. On the look out for sheep. I don't. And also, like these little pips of belief that I'm getting every now and then. I forget. I mean, I think they do explain those to an extent, but all right. I should put all the stones I find in the circle. There's just so many little fiddly bits, which is a good thing, or it can be a good thing. Any sheeps here? This is the town I don't have access to yet. I think it's outside of my jurisdiction. Or, nope, it is in my jurisdiction. Yeah, Lofty is, as I was saying earlier, kind of the design doc to a T of a game like this is... for some things it feels like more time was spent in making it possible to do something versus thinking about, you know, it's the Jurassic Park, you know, question, or they posed the question posed in Jurassic Park by a true man among God among men, Ian Malcolm, is just because you could, you didn't ask if you should, right? Like, I feel that this is a prime example of a game that has a designer who's like, we're just gonna go for it. We have a goal, we have a doc, we have things that we're gonna do. Choice, black or white, good or evil, everything. Let's just slam those down on kind of almost like, you know, good and evil are on the underside of a pizza box. So you just slam it down on the whole pizza. And, yeah. But anyway, I'm assuming these are your sheep as well. I'm just put all the sheep I find basically in your demesnes here.
There are still sheep missing.
Also, the night cycle was very quick for how long the day was. Yeah, I mean, Jeff Goldblum makes every piece of content he touches better. So every game that does not have Jeff Goldblum is suffering from a lack of Goldblum. What the holy hell? That's not my cow. What's going on here? I do not believe Jeff Goldblum has been featured in any games. I don't believe he's voiced any games. I don't believe. We have a situation over here. Should I? Actually, where did my cow go? He's at home, sleeping. How's he feeling? Oh, he's super hungry. There's food right here. Dope. There's food right here. Eat this. Eat this food. Chop. You're sitting next to all this food, man. You gotta eat it. There you go. You silly bastard. I deem you 100% good boy. I said that. Let's go for a walk. Why don't you come look at this thing with me? So here's this kind of leads us to a good slash bad slash somewhere in between is oh, he's a huge. Should I be interacting with him like this? I don't want him getting hurt, but I want them to be friends. I don't remember them being a giant sheep. I'll have to check that out, Vicky Maz, once we're done here. Now I'm curious what's so what? How's this? He seems jazzed about it. I don't think this is a thing I can really do. So yeah, so all right, we'll just move on then. There is definitely a freedom here, right? Like they've given me some goals. They've given me like minor side quests to work on. There's a main story quest I can go click at if I want to, but I can also sit here and take my cow for a walk. And I don't know. I still need to kind of ruminate it on it a little bit more and play some more. But it picks at a style of game that is very popular right now, in a way, which is more of the open world sandbox kind of game, which this technically is to an extent, but the different maps have different goals and different objectives ultimately. But the things you can kind of fiddle with and do on the way are very open, very freeform. There's no time limit. I'm not under any sort of pressure to do these things. I'm just hanging out with Macau. But to that end, they also it's a double-edged sword in that here, eat some food while I'm gone. Eat this. Eat it. You're not hungry right now? No. Well, I'll leave it to your business then. Right, sheep. And as I recall, the rewards for these side quests, like this world, in terms of resources, we've been introduced so far to grain and to wood, which are plentiful in the land. They're not resources that I'm actively pursuing in a RTS or something, right? I'm not mining iron. I'm not actively seeking out these resources. They're sort of available in the ambient world as I need them, as I want to gather them when I feel like I need them. So that's the thing, is how do you set up rewards for a system like that? Where ultimately what the rewards, as we saw with the first Silver Scroll, is toys for your pets, or more ways to play with your pet, or more little kind of sandboxy, toolboxy sorts of things. There's a lot of little quests out here. What's your deal? Are we outside my head? Okay, so this is important to notice. They haven't tutorialized this yet, but this is my sphere of influence, this big red ring. And I can't actually touch things that are outside of there. I can't interact with them. I can't pick him up and throw him out in the ocean like I was kind of wanting to. I can't click on this. Actually, I can. Okay, so
Sorry,
I can.
I don't have any special creatures for you.
Okay, good. I didn't want any. Weird. And there are ways to like establish faith in other towns to expand your influence. And this is the starter map. Technically, there's as I recall, some form of campaign where you move to the next map and the next map and the next map as you accomplish the various goals. Excuse me. But I am being distracted by looking for sheep. And I remember this being a thing that was basically like Where's Waldo? I mean, there's a giant sheep right here, but I don't think I can pick him up. So maybe we'll just find something else to click on right now.
There are still sheep missing.
Right. I said something else to click on, not the same thing I just clicked on. Like this thing.
What's all the fuss?
A freak wave has just struck. My husband and 4 others are drowning. Please help them.
Well, let's see. Who do we know who's tall enough to wait out?
I mean,
Don't muck around. Let's get our creature out there as fast as possible.
the literal first thing I did in this game
My gosh,
Oh, stop,
there's still
stop. I
people to
didn't-
save.
was to pluck people out of the water. And now you're saying, oh, the creatures are the only way to solve this goal. It's a little weird. Oops. Can you do more than one? Nope. I like how as soon as they're rescued, they're like, all right, back to fishing. That's satisfying. Did it.
Oh, I'm so grateful. We'll get some extra worshipping done.
Yeah, see what you do.
Yeah, you're grateful now. This pedestal is a miracle dispenser. It charges
Alright,
up and
miracles.
generates one-shot miracles. Click on the signpost for more info.
Yeah, the more that I kind of interact with these systems, the more disparate they feel. Just stop. Here, go hang out by this tree. Here, I guess I'll make you strong. I'm trying to. Hang on a second. Let me reread these signs. Sorry, Mr. Pig. Strengthen a miracle. This strengthens the target creature. Oh, I probably had to do that. He's strong now. Just temporarily, because he has a. So yeah, it's things like this, right? We have these disparate systems. We have miracles. We have these sort of side quests. This sort of, and we really haven't gotten. There is a more of a colony management aspect to this that comes up as either on this island or the next island that we're not really interacting with yet. That we're not really. We don't really have any pressure to interact with that. I'm going to attach you to that person and let you guys have fun.
Holy One, there's a huge
Oh,
creature
this is
in the
what the
valley
giant sheep is.
beyond.
Okay.
We're all terrified. This must be the creature that Sable spoke of.
So you're not terrified of a
Let's
giant cow, but a
investigate.
giant sheep is where your fear overcomes you. All right, let's go. It is also telling that despite all of the highly interactive and highly agency focused mechanics they put on the hand, that because it's faster, I just use the keyboard, like to get the leash and to do most things. It really shows. So here's also the thing, right? Like how the quest system and how the open world and the sandbox thing is kind of falling apart here. Is that I saw this giant sheep thing earlier, I tried to interact. I brought my creature over to it. Nothing. Couldn't talk to it. It just acted sad. Have to go activate the quest first. You know, like there's a lack of. It's almost like a forced. It's like pretend organic experience, right? Like you see this giant sheep walking around, but you can't really interact with it till you go do the quest that lets you interact. You know, like why not? Let's let me start the quest when I see the sheep, or I don't know. It's like ideas that are like 80% expressed. A giant sheep would be super useful. Think about this. Yes, it would make. I mean, this is basically.
Look at the size of that.
It's a lot of sweaters on that sheep.
Okay.
Assuming he
We're
lets you
dead.
shear him.
We're all dead.
What is it? Where's it from? It doesn't seem to be aggressive, though.
If it is, we're all dead. Even the spirits. Dead. You topos.
Can you hear that? This giant is communicating. It's telepathic.
You have a creature. Bring him to me.
Jeff Goldblum?
No way. He'll eat him.
But this giant looks friendly. Let's bring our creature over with the leash.
So, as I recall, this is okay. My creature needs to take it easy.
I do hope they'll be friends.
Another creature? Is it true? Are you real? I've been alone for eons. I thought I would die without ever seeing another god. Or another creature. I once belonged to Nemesis, the most powerful of gods. But his power kept growing, and soon I wasn't bold enough for him. So I was cast out,
Nemesis.
banished here, and I've been alone ever since.
Subtle.
Until now.
This being is astonishing, but what a sad tale.
In return for your friendship and that of your creature, I will teach you both. You will both learn the ways of the gods.
Okay. Oh, is this
When you are ready for
gestures,
the first
finally?
lesson, meet me at the village through this pass.
Bye. Like I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. I think Mad Desks is how the name needs to be coded. No, it would not be. Speaking from a development standpoint, it would not have been that much more complicated for this. Let's just zoom in on this extreme example right here. It would not have been difficult at all to make that quest start when you interact with the cow. Like given that you can interact with or the giant sheep with your creature, given that you can already interact with them using your creature via context sensitive commands. No, I think it's more of either a design decision or a attempt to kind of codify how quests were handled, and they're like, no, there are no organic quests. Everything starts from a scroll. Which, if you wanted to scope a game to hit as many people as possible who may not be as intuitive to games, is smart, right? If you say, if you ever want to do anything in this game, if you ever want to do a thing, capital T thing, find a scroll and click it. That's it. Whereas if you stick to that throughout the whole game, and that kind of is what this feels like. If you stick to that through the whole game, then everyone who plays it knows now, well, they're not going to miss anything because they're going to look for those scrolls and they're going to see all the stuff. Whereas what I'm kind of speaking to is it would make more sense to, if you see a thing that you want to, interact with or explore, you just go do it. And the game should be able to keep up with you. And this game, from a tech perspective, would 100% be able to do that. I just feel like they were kind of trying to stick to that, keeping it as basic and as straightforward as possible, which is confusing in a way because this game is also presenting itself as being extremely open-ended, right? Like, how do you keep to a directed experience while also saying do whatever you want, or play in the sandbox as much as you want. And that's kind of one of the things I think one of the more dissonant design choices that you kind of experience with this. And to be fair, a lot of the hype around this game when it was being developed, was all around the AI. When this was being developed and this was being hyped, this was being previewed, it was all about the AI of the creature. It was about how he learns from you, how he learns from the negative and positive reinforcement. And I feel like a lot of what this game was built around was kind of featuring that. It was kind of built outward from that, in a way. Exactly. Yeah. If it handholds you more, it's more approachable for newbies, and not necessarily for newbies. A thing that did he go home? He went home. He's probably pretty hungry actually. Why don't you come back home? I'll get you some food. Not just newbies, like people who are new to a game, right? Like the first 30 minutes of this game. Hang on, I need to feed my cow. Or he needs. What are you doing with that food? Oops. I need to shake the leash. Come here. Come here, eat this. Are you hungry? You're really hungry. You should eat more food. Does he want more? Should I give him a bigger amount? Hold that thought. I'm feeding my cow. Is this too much food? Nope. Plenty of food. Okay, cool. Sorry. No, I'm not trying to slap you. I'm trying to pet you. Good boy. Okay. It's not so much like a newbie who is playing a game for the first time. There are people who aren't intrinsically gamers or who don't have a ton of experience with games in general. If you sit like your mother or your dad or your friend's dad, even now, a little more so back then, but you sit them down in front of this game and say, "Here's a game, play it," and they have no context for anything in video games. Like they don't know what HP is, they don't know what XP is, they don't know what they don't have these foundations. A game like this, and this is one of Peter Molyneaux's goals for lots of games, and it's very, 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 very clear here is that that's what you meant as well. It's not people who are new to the game, but people who are new to games in general. Is that you need to establish these kind of these markers for them to just trust, right? Hence the scroll system, by saying, okay, just click scrolls to make things happen, and whatever ambient interaction comes from it, great. But yeah, yeah, and that's also the thing. You mentioned the date here. There definitely wasn't a huge there wasn't a huge amount of open world dynamic games. Although this is a post. It's obviously post. When did GTA 3 come out? Yeah, so this is actually before Grand Theft Auto 3, which was kind of one of the first really kind of sandbox open world dynamic world games. So this was trying some stuff. So yeah, not even people who could be considered hardcore gamers would necessarily have the sort of intentions that or the the vocabulary to like think and expect these interactions to behave a certain way. Now let's go talk to this giant sheep. There are definitely some inconsistencies though in the tutorializing. By letting us accomplish these scrolls in whatever order we want, we're also, it leads to some confusion. Like I'm given this leash icon in the lower right with this gesture, which they have not explained what that means yet. I know what it means because I've played the game before, but like, why is this? What is this glyph? Why is it glowing? I can't pick him up, right? No. Also, just from a story / presentation perspective, when we first see this giant sheep, my conscience is saying, "Oh, we're doomed. We're gonna die. This giant sheep is the end of us." And that may just be him overreacting, but it's also interesting to call into question, what is our actual power? What is the actual limit of our power? Are we an invulnerable immortal, or are we something less so? One could argue that it's more the latter, given that we have to focus on things specifically, that we have to move our presence around. We might just be some sort of alien other than an actual god, but
This is the Aztec village. I will teach you the first secret here.
this doesn't really look like
These
Aztec
people do
looking.
not yet believe in you as a god. To grow in power, you and your creature can impress them until they believe in you.
Oh, this is actually
Look at the village
this isn't
store.
gestures. This is
The
actually.
flag shows that they need food. If you give them some, they'll think it's a miracle and will believe in you more.
Suckers.
Click on the signpost to find out more about desire flags.
Okay.
This is a food miracle you can cast once.
As I recall,
Pick up such one-shot
miracles
with the action
or
button
spells, basically. You
and activate them by tapping them with the same button, like this.
you do eventually are able to make your own miracles or cast them every so often from the temple. Yeah. So we're kind of previewing that system here.
Things like this really impress the villagers. If your creature is on the rope leash, he'll learn this miracle as you cast it.
Well, I 100% want him to learn it.
Now you try. Tap on the miracle and click the action button on the Aztec village store.
So I want to remember, or I want to find what the leash, changing the leash type is. Yes, V and B. No,
You picked up the miracle instead of tapping it.
I'm
Drop
so
it and
sorry.
Try again.
Hang on. Attach my cow to a tree.
Well done. Now click the action button over the village store.
Whoops. Wow. He's
Good. Not only have you fed them, but now they believe in you more. I have created more food miracles for you to practice with. At the village center, you can see your symbol. When it reaches the stone hand there, the village will believe in you. Holding your hand over it shows how much belief the people have in you. I need sleep. Wake me when the village believes in you and you are ready to continue your education.
So this is awkward, right? Like, I want to teach my cow how to do this, but I have to then... You know. Also, I can just put food from here.
Will worship you now.
Cool.
You have not investigated many silver reward scrolls, leader. Try a few. It'll be worth it.
Alright, okay, yes, I'll go do the tasks. So yeah, I have now expanded my area of influence. I believe that's one of the conditions for passing the map in general. I'm going to teach him the miracle, and he keeps sleeping. He's not even sleepy. Oh, I see. 23% of learning it. Yeah. He's thinking about it. He likes the idea of these. It's gonna take a while to teach him it, so let's move on.
I'm tired. Let me rest before we continue.
You have not investigated many silver reward scrolls,
Alright, so
leader.
we're being...
Try a few. It'll be worth it.
Alright, so... I think that's enough to basically wrap it up for tonight. It's... As a beginning experience, it's definitely drawn out. It's definitely it's not a game you can just dive into and just go. And I think because as we're saying, it's trying to be as broadly scoped as possible. Trying to look at it from a modern game design perspective, it's definitely clunky. I'll be honest. There's a lot that is in there that they want you to interact with, that they want you to use to progress, but is positioned in a very here's some stuff here, here's this system here, here's this system here. They sort of interact. You can kind of mess with each one as you like. It's like a series of stations than one go here, play with the pet. Okay, go here, do faith. Maybe you have the pet, do some faith, learn the miracles. Okay, go over here, do scrolls, pick up sheep randomly. If you actually think about what skills we're having the player learn and execute, what verbs to take a certain approach that certain kind of game designers do is what verbs are we flexing here? Well, teaching, picking things up and putting them down is the biggest verb that we have here, and making miracles to get people to believe. It's clunky from a game design, and it always felt like what was compelling about this game for me when I played it, and I played a lot of it when it came out because it was very interesting. It was doing a lot of interesting things in terms of creature AI, in terms of how you interacted with the world, how you moved around the world, and it was very compelling. But the thing that was most compelling was like it had a Tamagotchi effect, right? Like let's raise this animal, let's teach him, let's see what he'll eat, let's see who he'll throw, let's spend hours and hours playing with the creature. And there's also a game here, sort of like because they do introduce more kind of a stricter quest series in terms of, I think you actually go up against other gods at one point who have their own creatures, and they fight, or you cast miracles. You learn more gestures, which we didn't touch at all, which I was surprised. I thought that was one of the kind of mainline quest things, that you do spells and actions through gestures, which is the sort of spiral gesture symbol in the lower right, that you draw that on the land and a thing happens. But yeah, it's almost too broad for from a design perspective. It's the things that are compelling about it are things that aren't making me want to play the game that's there, and more of the kind of pet simulator that's there. So yeah, I mean, that's 2 hours of Black and White. I'll keep messing around with it off stream. If maybe we'll like revisit it for a deeper dive or something if we feel like there's some meat there. But I mean, like what I've shown you is 80% of the game, to be honest. It just makes the sandbox bigger, right? Much bigger islands. You have to kind of impress people to broaden your sphere of influence. You raise the animal in a way. Exactly. Vicky Maz also played it when it first came out. And yeah, the primary the thing I remember most is of course the pet simulator. It's especially if you love animals as I do, and you cherish the idea of like leading a little tiger or cow or monkey around and having them do stuff and petting them and having them look happy and learn stuff, like that's the thing. And to be fair, they spent a ton of time on the AI part, the behavioral learning. There's a whole article, I'm sure there's more than one. There's a series there's a series of articles about the development of this game around actually find the artificial intelligence system that they were kind of talking about, which was it was like desire, personality, pursuit. There's some psychology profile that they're using. Michael Bratman's belief, desire, and tension model to simulate creatures learning and decision making. So yeah, so being able to see your creature learn these things and engage with it in the world is what this game is. And then you play, and the game's like, oh, you should probably do some of these quests, by the way. Don't you want to take over another village? Don't you want to find the sheep? You're like, no, man, I want to find more shit for my animal. Like, yeah. So I think that's what ultimately, that's the strength and the ultimate weakness of this game, is that it was designed. Peter Molyneaux loves making god simulators, loves making god games, and it was like, okay, we made one where you're a god. Let's have them, and I touched on this earlier when I said, that the creature felt kind of disconnected from what the game was trying to present itself as when it started. And it sort of feels like the game was developed like, oh god, this creature thing is really sweet. Like, look at all these things we can do with it. We're going to try and we're going to add these layers of AI, and let's spend all this time on the creature. And it's like, oh, there's also a game here. So, yeah, I don't know that we'll explicitly stream this to play more of it, because I don't feel like it would be it would just be me playing with the cow for 2 hours, which might be fun for some people. But I think that will do it for this little game. When I fade out here, I'll have my new stream schedule up on the screen, and I'm going to try and stick to that and try and make sure each night kind of sticks to its theme. I'll be adding them as events on the Twitch channel, and if any of those sound like a thing you want to come see, come hang out with me. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 for Deep Dive. I haven't decided which game yet, but it's happening. But thanks for coming out. We'll see you later.